Rather than reinventing the wheel here, let's go back to a special counsel model to look at this something new. The something new is statements by President Obama. I don't like your analysis. Russia wasn't involved here in 2016.
Senator, you're saying there's something new. This report goes back to 2020. It's 5 years old. There's actually nothing new in this report and nothing that changes any conclusion. But I want to talk about Gaza.
Turned over is new to me.
Senator,
it's new to me.
But Senator,
you're trying to sweep this stuff under the rug, and that's not right.
That's Kristen Welker absolutely losing it on live TV because someone dared to mention her beloved Obama might have had a role in RussiaGate. The second you question the deep state fairy tale, NBC turns into a therapy session for panicked Democrat operatives. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like the RussiaGate meltdown has reached DEFCON 1 for establishment media, because nothing triggers them more than someone pointing out that the whole thing was a hoax built on lies and foreign intel laundering. Here's Kristen Welker and Lindsey Graham going toe-to-toe on Meet the Press.
Senator, as you know, former President Obama has weighed in through a spokesperson. He says that's just patently false. I actually spoke to Susan Miller, who's a former senior CIA officer who helped oversee the 2017 intelligence assessment on Russian interference. She says it's completely false that Obama or anyone else asked them to change or sway their investigation. She says she says, and she's a Republican, says they all would have quit if that had happened. Senator, are you trying to rewrite history to distract from the Epstein matter, Senator?
No, I'm trying to let you know and the media know that we found something we didn't know before. At the end of the day, I'm not calling for a prosecution against President Obama for treason, but I am calling for an investigation. Mr. Miller also said there was no credible evidence that President Trump colluded with the Russians. For years and months and days and weeks, people had their lives turned upside down chasing the Mueller narrative that Trump was in bed with the Russians, that the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians. The only people colluding with the Russians were the Hillary Clinton campaign and Christopher Steele manufacturing a document to get warrants against Carter Page based on lies and falsehoods. So, yeah, I'm very familiar with it. What you don't seem to acknowledge is there's something new being found.
You know, Lindsey Graham isn't exactly known for going scorched earth, but even he had to push back when Welker tried to run cover for Obama's role in RussiaGate. I mean, we're talking about a sitting president using intelligence agencies to interfere in an election. That's a fairly serious revelation worth reporting on. But what does Welker do? Clutches her pearls, shouts about rewriting history, and then tries to pivot to Epstein like we didn't see that sleight of hand coming. This is the same network that spent years hyping a fake dossier funded by Hillary Clinton, then played dumb when Mueller found nothing. NBC helped sell the hoax. Now they're panicking that people are finally reading the receipts. Here's Byron Donalds breaking down exactly why the left wants to move on.
I just got to ask you, what do you say to those people that say it's time to move on? I mean, it just seems like every time there's a scandal, we say something is true. We were saying it for 5 years. They say we were lying. They said all of our reporting were chief fakes. And then when we finally get the evidence, they tell us it's time to move on. Like, we just can't keep going in these circles. Final word.
Well, that's Democrat operating procedure. That's what they do. When the Democrats are caught red-handed, it's time to move on. And the sad thing is the New York Times, the Washington Post, LA Times, Chicago Tribune, they follow lockstep with the Democrat Party and they move on. But look what we've uncovered. Joe Biden was not running the country. That is crystal clear. Now we know that Barack Obama actually ordered a new intelligence report based upon fake information to draw a conclusion that the Russians interfered on behalf of Donald Trump. That was a lie. That is now proven. But they want to move on and want to deflect and dissemble. We knew that the laptop from hell was real, but they wanted to lie and ignore it and move on. So time and time again, the Democrats have proven they do not believe in transparency with the American people. They do not believe in the will of the American voter. They will subvert the will of the voter if it means they get to keep power. We got to uncover this stuff. It's about the future of our country. That matters more than anything else.
The left's playbook is becoming more and more clear every day. Create a hoax, amplify it through their media partners, weaponize law enforcement, then cry, "Let's move on," when the truth finally drops. They want amnesty without consequences. But the intelligence community has blown their credibility, and the people are finally starting to see it. 62% of Americans believe the FBI actively interfered in the 2016 election to hurt Trump. Not just that they made mistakes. That's not some fringe theory anymore. Donalds is right to demand answers because this wasn't just dirty politics. It was a full-blown attempt to sabotage a presidency. And it was all based on garbage intelligence laundered through foreign assets. Here's Tulsi Gabbard and Nancy Mace calling out the media's role in pushing this entire fraud.
They don't actually cover the revelations that these intelligence reports and the evidence that we released actually conveys to the American people. They simply talk about their criticisms of it or convey Democrat politicians' criticisms of it, but none of them actually dealing with the truth that has been revealed. They don't want the American people to know the truth, but also they recognize the mainstream media's complicity in this.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, this is a continued conspiracy with the mainstream media, with the fake news who cover up, make excuses for, and hide the truth from the American people because they're in bed with Obama. They're in bed with Democrats. They're in bed with the far left. And they will do anything in their power to hurt Donald Trump, to hurt conservative Republicans. And this is why they're failing.
You know, the media wasn't duped. They were complicit. I mean, they parroted talking points straight from Brennan's CIA and Clinton's opposition research. And now they act stunned when people demand accountability. These people pushed a lie that cost taxpayers millions, destroyed reputations, and undermined a presidency. The Gabbard report isn't just about Obama. It's about a whole system that thought it could rig the game and never get caught. But let me know what you think. Should there be consequences for media figures and government officials who push the RussiaGate hoax? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Boy.